Hey everybody, it's Marion here. Today I'm going to do a video for you showing how the different markers look when you color with them. And the reason is because I've spent quite a lot of money using different markers, and I thought I would maybe help you save some of your money and learn by some of the things that I've purchased before. So I have a few different ones here that I'm going to show you. I'm going to start off with the Bic. This right here you've probably seen before. It's the Bic Market, and this one is the fine tip point, but actually to me it's not all that fine of a point. I think it's a little bit on the thick side. So let me lay down some color for you. Now the Bic Market really does have a nice covering when you color with it. It really fills in the space very nicely. Doesn't look like it has very many streaks. So this marker I do like, and I don't think it's very expensive. I might have bought them at Staples or some office supply store, and they're actually a very nice marker. So you can see here that the color's going on nice and thick without leaving streaks. So I'm not sure what these cost. I don't think they're terribly expensive, which is nice. I think they're pretty affordable, so that's a nice marker to have. The next marker here that I'm going to show you is the Low Cornell. I think that's how you pronounce it. These I believe are found at Michael's, and it has a very, very fine tip. So this one is, I would say, more of a marker for kids. I'm going to go a little bit faster on this one. This one, as you can see, it seems like it's running low on the ink, but it is leaving a lot of streaks also. This marker I would think would be better if you have kids or grandkids maybe, and you don't want to invest in expensive markers for them, so you would want to probably get something like this. You know, it's not a terrible marker. It has a nice color, but it's just not a professional marker. It's nothing you're going to really want to use if you're doing really nice art projects or maybe even journaling. I don't think I'd want to use these necessarily, but as you can see, I'm doing the green here, and you do get a lot of streaks. And then if I go over it, the color's not even, and it almost gets even worse. So you can probably see that right there. So it doesn't matter how many times I go back and forth, you're still gonna have that streak. The newest markers that I bought were, well, these are actually not the newest ones I bought, but I bought these recently. It's by Sargent Art, and I bought these at Hobby Lobby. They're a brush tip marker, and these were extremely affordable. I got here a pack of 12 markers for $2.99, and I thought, well, I really wanted brush tip markers, which is why I bought them, and I thought, oh, they're probably going to be terrible, but you know, it's only $2.99. But when I actually started using them, I thought the color laid down really nicely. I only have to go across one time and the color's all the way through, and it doesn't leave any streaks whatsoever, which is very nice about this marker. And they also sell larger packs of these. I don't know if it's 24. So this would be a nice marker to have, like if you wanted to carry it with you in your purse or something and you don't want to take your nice expensive ones. This would definitely be a marker that you can take with you, and you'd still be happy with the color. I just bought the 12, so I have some of the basic colors, and they're nice and light and easy to carry. It does leave some streaks, but it's not bad. It's definitely better than the Low Cornell, as you can see here. So even if you wanted to get your kids some markers, these are actually better and I think easier to use. Next markers I have are the Zig markers. These were I was most surprised, I should say, by these because I thought I would absolutely fall in love with them. It came in a big set of, I don't know how many, maybe 50 something, 60 markers, all kinds of colors, and it has a dual tip. So this one right here would be the fine tip. It's 0.5 millimeters on that side, and then this one here is I guess it's called a bullet tip, and I am not very fond of this bullet tip at all. So it seems like I have to really go back and forth a lot to get the color filled in, for one. And if I need to go back over it again because there's some white spaces here, it starts to, I guess you could say, loosen up the fibers in the paper. So it makes the color look even worse when you go back over it. I hope that makes sense. Let me use the bullet tip on this. So if I go across, fill in all the spaces, it's okay. Makes a lot of streaks. Then I'm going to go back a second time and I'll go over half of it, and it just is like grinding up the paper underneath. It really does look terrible, and I'll hold it up in a second so you can see that closer. But it just really takes a lot of back and forth strokes to get it filled in. I'm not trying to stay in these lines at all, but if I need to go over it, it does not cover very well at all. So you can see on this one, this was my first layer, and the minute I went over my second layer, it does not take the color very well. It makes it worse if you need to go over it again and darken the color. And here I just wanted to go do an outline and it made it darker, but it didn't blend nicely at all. And I think this one I just did the one layer, whoops, did the one layer. And no, I actually went over that again a little bit, and you could see it just kind of lifts those fibers on the paper. Does not have a smooth look to it at all, which I don't like. Now I'm going to show you the Prisma markers. This right here is your Prisma Premier. It has two ends to it. So this one right here would be your chisel tip, and this side here would be your fine tip. So we'll color this in right here, and the color's laying down really nicely. It's nice and smooth. The paper's getting nice and saturated with the color, and it just has a beautiful look to it. The Prismas are fairly expensive, so if you purchase these, it's good to have a coupon if you're going to go to Michael's or any of the craft stores in your area. Take a 40% off coupon because they're very expensive. But this one is pretty nice. Even when I go back over the color that I just laid down, it doesn't do what this did. It still kind of has almost a little bit of a watercolor effect. And it's just a very, very nice, pretty marker. And this one here, I'll use the brush tip. I'm really terrible at using chisel tips. I'm just not good at it for some reason. That's why I like the brush tip the best. So, your Prismacolors look like that. It's very, very nice. The final marker I wanted to show you is the newest one I purchased, is the Copic. And this one, I swore I was not going to get started with these, and then one day I said, well, I'm just going to try a few and see what they're like. And when I did, I absolutely fell in love with them. These markers are, I mean, when you start coloring with them, you can just feel the difference. It's so nice and easy to use these. The tip is beautiful. It's a brush tip. Let's see. There we go. It's a nice brush tip. Oh, and then the other end, I forgot to show you, has the chisel tip. There you go. And this would be the sketch marker. I am brand new to using Copic, so if you really want to see what they look like on some actual artwork, just go to YouTube, and there's some really great artists that have shown how beautiful these markers look. And they can explain a lot more about them, and I'm still myself looking at all those videos to just try to learn about these markers a little bit more. But I love these because these markers do not leave streaks at all. They blend so nicely. Let me finish up with the green here. And they're just so nice to use. And there we go. And what I did now, these are your sketch markers, and I also have, they're called Chow. I just bought these today. These are for the skin tones. They've picked out the best colors to use when you're doing skin tones. And the difference, what I learned, is not much really. The only difference, like this marker here, if you put it on the table, it doesn't roll because it's flat on two sides, which is nice. This one is rounded, so it will roll around on the table. The other difference is apparently this one holds more ink and it will last longer, and this one will hold less ink. So, which means that these are going to be cheaper, but the numbers and everything are going to be the same on the colors, and there's no other difference than that. So I decided to get these because I needed to save some money. They are extremely expensive. So I thought I would give these a try since they're the same, and you know, I want to get more markers anyway down the road. So what I'm going to do now is show you what it looks like when you do more layering. Now when I do the Bic Market, it still colors really nice. I'm doing second layer, third layer, fourth layer. It's not eating up the paper underneath. It really is handling all the ink from this marker really nicely. No change, it just deepened that color, and it looks really nice. I think that's a great marker to have. The Low Cornell, let's see, I can go back over that first layer. It still streaks. It just takes a lot of work to fill in an area that you're coloring. And then the more that I go back over the layers back and forth, the less smooth it's feeling underneath the pen here, the marker. You can tell the paper underneath is getting worn out, and it's not taking this very well. The Sargent, I'm laying down more color here, and this seems to just have a lot of ink in it. So the second layer, it went down beautifully. But I can already see the third layer, it's eating up the paper. And I'm going to hold it up to you to see if you could see what I mean when I say eating up the paper. Hope I'm showing you the right color. It's this one right here. It's kind of, you got these little pieces here that you kind of just need to brush off. That's what happens when the ink is really wearing down into the paper. The Zig, let's see, I'm going to do the green because these two are already not looking very well. So let's see this one. Alright, so that's my second layer, and it just looks real, I don't know if grainy is the word, but it's not smooth. I don't think it looks very good at all. And it seems like as I'm doing more layers, it's not getting any better at all. And the paper is not handling this ink very well. It's kind of eating up at the paper again. So that did not improve too much at all. And that's what that looks like. Now the Prisma, let me go to the pink. I'm going to put down some layers of color here. And this is a heavy pigmented color, and it has no problem. It's just getting really saturated. I can see my paper is kind of wet from all the pigment that I'm laying down on this paper, but it has no effect on the paper at all. It's still just as smooth as the first layer that I laid down. So right here, I mean, look at the difference between the Zig and the Prisma. So you really are getting what you pay for if you're going to invest in markers. The final one I'm going to show you is the Copic. And this one is meant to be layered. The Copics, they just remind me of watercolors. They're so beautiful. But you can take the different shades of this color and you can, you know, just do your shading around whatever you're working on. And they blend really nice together. I guess they're alcohol-based markers. So they're meant to be that type of marker that you shade with and you blend colors, whereas the other ones won't blend together as far as I know. So this marker here is expensive, but it is so worth it. And these, I guess you could refill the ink or something like that, so you don't have to constantly rebuy a whole nother marker, which would be expensive. So once you get established and have the set that you want, you know, then you don't have to pay as much after that, if that makes any sense at all. So here is a look at all the different colors that we lay down. So as you can see, the Bic markets are pretty nice. Definitely the Copic markers are beautiful, and the Prisma markers are great. Then in your cheaper category, the Sargent Art is a decent marker to use if you just want to have something to throw in your purse. The Zig I'm not happy with. The one thing I will use the Zigs for, though, is if you turn it around on the fine tip end, they're nice to write with. So you can use them for writers, and if you're doing like journaling, or you know, you just want to make some thin lines, or you want to write with different color pens and not always have the black, then they do make a nice, you know, writing pen. But other than that, I don't like them as a marker, and you can see why. They just don't lay down color very nicely. So these are just the different markers that I wanted to show you, and I hope that this helped. I hope you enjoy, you know, you doing your artwork with markers, because I think it's one of my favorite mediums to use. And there's a lot out there. I have not touched on all of them, but I wanted to just give you some that I have purchased before. And like I said, you know, there's all ranges of prices, from the most expensive to the least expensive, but you will get what you pay for. It depends what you want the markers for, whether they're for kids, whether they're for really fine art projects that you're doing and you want it to look really awesome, then you're going to want to spend more on your markers. So thanks so much for watching, and if you would like to follow my blog, you can go to mariansretreat.com, and I have other links there that you can follow. Thanks so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye.